G'day folks, welcome to an OCC Daily Queensland Weather App. Today, the 15th of January 2023. My name's Chris Nitzo. This update brought to you by our major sponsor, TownsvilleSheds.com. Check them out if you're in the market for a shed safe accredited shed. Across Queensland this morning, we see significant rainfall from this area, Townsville, south to about St Lawrence. We see lots of light rain extending down to around the Sunshine Coast hinterland area. We see also some light patchy rain across the northern interior, and we're seeing some showers already building up across the far northern interior. Also on the western coast of Queensland, we're seeing showers and thunderstorms building up through the Gulf of Carpentaria, pushing on into the Cape in this monsoonal flow. So this morning, when we take a look at our deep layer steering environment, we can see that we've got a northwesterly monsoonal flow. We have the monsoon trough directly over the top of Townsville this morning, and we see this curvature in the flow pattern through the Bowen, Whitsundays, Mackay, and down towards St Lawrence area. So this is an area where the flow is turning back into the coast. So a lot of our rainfall is being built up here on that turning back of the flow, because as that flow turns back onto the coast, we also squeeze the air mass and we create this convergence of flow, and so this creates the rain and storms and clouds that we're getting across this section of the state. So our area of greatest turning and our area of greatest convergence is located around that same spot, probably from about Serena or just south of Serena to around about Bowen is where we see that greatest amount of turning today. Areas further to the north, particularly along the monsoon trough line, could see some very slow-moving showers and thunderstorms, and those individual hit-and-miss showers and thunderstorms can create locally heavy falls. So be aware of that if you are living along the monsoon trough today. And further north of the monsoon trough, we could see some gusty northwesterly winds coming through with some showers and thunderstorms that do develop along that monsoonal flow. Further south into central Queensland, we do see an enhancement of this northeasterly flow through a deep layer atmosphere, and so what that means is we don't quite have the squeezing down here that we do further northwards, and the air isn't really quite as tropical further southwards, so we're going to see a continuation of rain, and potentially that rain will increase over the next 24 to 36 hours on that coastline around the Capricornia. But we're probably not going to see the intensity of rainfall. In fact, we're almost definitely not going to see the intensity of rainfall down here that we're going to see further northwards. Yesterday we saw heavy rainfall. Thanks to the Bureau of Meteorology here, we saw some very heavy rainfall from around about Rolling Stone southwards. There was a little weak low that we looked at this yesterday morning, and instead of drifting south-southeast, it drifted south-southwest and pushed right over the coast of Rolling Stone. You can see exactly where it pushed, because you can see Rolling Stone got 225 mils, just up the road got less than 30. So that's a really sharp rain gradient, and that's the sort of margins that we deal with when we talk about these little weak lows. Most of Townsville ended up with 150 to 250 mils of rain extending down towards the Airholme Hill area. Bowen, Whitsundays, Mackay region also started to really accumulate those falls, particularly in the last couple of hours, as that flow really focused on them. We also saw some nice falls around parts of the central Queensland exposed coastal region, and those hit-and-miss showers and thunderstorms do have the potential to create locally heavy falls, and we saw that around the North Tropical coastline, the Tablelands, and areas in the Cape and Gulf country. So looking at our rainfall till midnight tonight, we can see quite significant falls of rain are expected from the southern Burdekin region all the way down through to the Mackay-St Lawrence area, particularly focused, and I suspect they're going to be a little bit heavier than what's being indicated here around that Whitsundays to Mackay coastline and adjacent inland. And it's really important to understand the role the mountain ranges will have to play here. So not only are we getting the atmospheric squeezing going on the south side of the monsoon trough, but then we've also enhancing that squeezing by the mountain ranges to the west of Mackay, to the west of Proserpine, and so that's going to increase their rainfall in the adjacent inland areas, and we could see, as I mentioned, falls that are in excess of what we're seeing here on the global model. Lots of light patchy rain further south, interspersed with some shower activity as well. Through the evening and nighttime hours, we'll start to see some increasing shower activity around the Capricornia coastline. We could see some heavier falls potentially in isolated pockets of the northeastern interior, and those hit-and-miss showers and thunderstorms around the Gulf, the northern inland, the northeast coastal districts, and the Cape York Peninsula. Those hit-and-miss showers and thunderstorms can provide very heavy localised falls that may be over and above above what the computer model will show, but they will also unfortunately miss a lot of places, and a lot of people get frustrated because those individual showers and storms will be missing them as well. Always a double-edged sword with those things. Tomorrow, we're expecting to see significant rainfall again around the Mackay Whitsundays coastline, adjacent inland areas, as well as those mountain ranges continue to lift that squeezing. The squeezing will eventually weaken towards the end of tomorrow, so the intensity of rainfall will gradually decrease through the back half of tomorrow, but we're still looking at a substantial amount of rain tomorrow. Don't think for 1 second that tomorrow it's just going to be fine and sunny. There's plenty of rain to be had tomorrow in the same areas as today. What we do see is a slight increase in rainfall around the Capricornia coastline, as we do see a very weak trough system extend onto this section of coastline, or very weak squeeze zones, probably more accurate, around this central coastal region. So just an increase in shower activity there, slight increase in shower activity down around the Sunshine Coast too, and once again, lots of hit and miss showers and thunderstorms across the Herbert, Burdekin, North Tropical Coast, far northern inland, Gulf Country, and Cape York Peninsula. Once again though, you still need an element of luck to get those. They're not going to be everywhere like the model is leading you to believe. So between now and when we speak tomorrow morning, the area of greatest potential concern is this Mackay, just inland of Mackay area with the mountain ranges. There's some big ranges out the back here around Yungala and areas to the northwest of Mackay. There's a lot of hilly country. So it's this area here, particularly just inland of the coastline, that is most concerning with regards to the intensity of rainfall over the next 24 hours. And we're seeing evidence of totals that are well in excess, potentially, of 300 millimetres over the next 24 hours between 10 o'clock this morning and 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So some really heavy falls expected here. Please take care and stay indoors if you can. Not only is it producing so much rain, but that squeeze zone is also producing significant winds, and you can see wind gusts up around 30 to 35 knots today in the Whitsundays all the way down to St. Lawrence coastline. So obviously stay off the water if you can avoid it. We've also got some fresh northerlies, particularly just a touch offshore off the coast of Cairns associated with the monsoon. And so just be aware of that if you are boating in the far north as well. So on top of that, folks, we've also got to be mindful that along that little squeeze zone, there's also the chance that we could develop a weak rotation or a weak low at any time through the day or night. And if that does happen, those 30-knot gusts tend to become 40-knot gusts. So it goes from dangerous to deadly very quickly out there on the waters. So please be aware of that. Stay off the water if you can avoid it across central Queensland, especially if you're south of that monsoon trough. You do not want to be caught out in those squalls over the next 24 hours. If you'd like more details, head over to join.ozcyclonechasers.com.au and check out our subscription options for far more comprehensive details about where the rain, when the rain, how much rain. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.